It was, in fact, not a good time to play Crystal Palace. What's up, guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of the podcast. Now, Harry's already given me an earful, and we've been in the fucking recording session for literally, 35 seconds. So, before we talk about the weekend, we're going to talk about Thursday. Because I was at the game on Thursday, my stepdad's first game in a long time, and we won, which was nice, kept a clean sheet, which was nice. I'm going to go first this week, because once I let Harry speak, he is never going to stop. And welcome back. Harry's there. You guys don't need me to introduce him. If I let him say anything this week, then you won't hear the end of it. So we'll talk about Thursday first and foremost. Mikey Moore's unbelievable. Let's talk about some positives first before Harry goes on a run.
He's not the only positive of the past week, to be honest.
Right, there we go. He's already started.
Mikey Moore's... He's the only guy who's giving me any sort of like...
Right, hold on. Let's get there. Mikey Moore's unbelievable. I haven't seen a player get the crowd on their feet like that without scoring in a long time. Like just the way he ran at them was unbelievable, and he brought so much energy and so much life to the stadium. And he should have had probably 2 assists. To be fair, 2 really, really key chances he created. One in the first half. I can't remember who missed it, but someone should have scored. And then second half,
Richarlison
probably. And then second half, there was again a pass straight across the face of goal, and there needed to be someone to the back post, and there was no one there. And I'm really, really impressed with him, and I still do think that he needs a little bit of time to be Premier League ready. But at the moment, comparing him to our other options on the left wing, listen. You guys have seen that clip from the beginning of the season where we were talking about Timo Werner's loan deal, and I sat there, right, and I said that a player for squad depth is better than nobody at all. In reality, I'd rather play Michel Vorm on the left wing than Timo Werner. I just can't with him. And when you saw Mikey Moore, and then you saw Werner, and you see the difference. All right, Mikey Moore's not getting himself into as many advanced positions as what Werner did, but Mikey Moore can have the ball on the halfway line. Werner can have the ball 2 yards out and open goal, and Mikey Moore's still more likely to score. So, I think we played better than we looked on Thursday. We should have scored more, and we said this, and I said this in the match day vlog at the end when I got home on TikTok. Check it out, by the way. Shameless self-plug. I do really think that we should have scored more on Thursday. And I think if we win that game 3-0, then the fans come away from that happy. It's a rotated, comfortable European performance. I think the fans come away from that happy. And I don't think we were a million miles off of it. The one thing I will say on Thursday, before I'm kind of finished, because I don't really feel like there's a lot to talk about. The one thing I would say on Thursday is we've sat here and we've spoken about leadership on and off. And I'm not even going to get into leadership issues. The one thing I will say is I've heavily criticised Maddison this season for not looking like a captain, for not looking like a leader. When we've spoken about Vicario and Son and even Romero, even on their negative moments, they've still had some levels of leadership. It might not be good enough, but it still had some levels of leadership. When I looked at Maddison all season, he has not looked like a leader. He has not looked like a kind of a man amongst boys, if you like. He's not looked like that at all. His decision to give Richarlison, coming back from injury, struggling with form, struggling with fitness, struggling with confidence, choosing to give him that penalty after deciding he was going to take it. He was the leader on the field. That's his right to make that decision. We have no set penalty taker unless Son's on the pitch. So he was right in choosing to make that decision. Him then choosing to give that ball to Richarlison and put the confidence and faith and belief in his teammate rather than take it on selfishly himself. That's the first time Maddison has shown leadership in a Tottenham shirt since we signed him.
I wouldn't count that as leadership. For me, it was like...
I would, because it shows you're thinking about the bigger picture and not just yourself. And something Spurs fans on social media...
for me, is a good measure of leadership because, I don't think we would have lost... If Maddison took a penalty, I think he probably would have scored. But what I'm saying is, it's not like the be-all, end-all, we gave him the penalty, so it's a good leader. For me, a good leader is when the chips are down, when you're away losing 1-0 away to Palace, who's the
Right,
man on the pitch?
Harry, one game at a time, please. One game at a time. No, one game at a time.
No,
yeah, okay.
I'm going to go back to Brighton away, 3-2 down. Where was the leadership there?
Right, but we're talking about one game at a time here.
No,
we're talking about Thursday.
My point is that I don't see it as leadership. For me, that's a very unlikely scenario that will happen once. We don't get a lot of penalties anyway, but for me, that's a very not a good way to measure leadership.
Okay, but I'm not talking about his leadership ability as a whole. I'm talking about in that moment. That is the first incident I have seen of him in a Tottenham shirt. Go and do something selfless. Go and do something.
Yeah, I called it selfless. I don't call it a leadership quality.
The reason why I'd say it's a leadership trait is because when you're a team player, when you're one of the top players in your club, like in terms of responsibility, you have a responsibility to protect those players and improve the confidence and belief of those players below you. Now, 9 times out of 10, unless you're in a relegation battle, you won't have to do that. But Richarlison is one of those players who we've both said in the past, he's not quite got his head screwed on fully, but he gives everything for the shirt. He never stops running. He never stops pressing. He absolutely loves the club, loves the fans. I actually saw him drive past us where we were sat eating chicken shop on Thursday. And he absolutely adores the club and loves the club. And you can tell how much it means to him. For Maddison to understand that Richarlison scoring a goal is more important than him scoring a goal. Let's be honest, right? We've all called Kane a leader in the past. If Son had just come back from a long injury, was really, really struggling with form, really, really struggling with injury, just couldn't get going, would Kane ever have given a penalty up for a fellow teammate? The answer is no. But this is what I'm saying to you, and this is why when Kane was at Spurs, I didn't think he had any leadership quality at all. We should never have been given the armband.
Yeah, but the thing is, we didn't have anyone else to put as a armband, really.
No, I know, but I'm just saying one of the reasons why I disagree with it.
Because it's like
he got it by default.
Van de Ven, I think there's a chance he could end Romero. That's why I think they gave the captaincy for Romero partly because of the reason that he might think of going. So if you give him more responsibility, make him like a what's the word? Like make
more
him
influential player than he is more
and make him more like feel special. I don't know if that's the right word for it.
Yeah.
Like I would argue, one of my arguments last season was to make Van de Ven a captain because I think a lot of clubs might be looking at him to try and snap him up. So that's what Spurs did that with a lot of players. Actually, they did that with obviously, like you mentioned, Kane. But I've done that in the past with other players as well. Where Robbie Keane, I think, is one obvious. Yeah. I remember where because there was rumours he was leaving or stuff like that, I give them more responsibility and say, look, you're the main man.
We're kind of guilt tripping him into staying.
Make you feel special, basically. Yeah. And it's like, and that's with the Maddison thing. I actually think it shows the lack of leaders in this squad because he's only say like 27 something, and he got Son, who's the oldest one at 32. I don't see any like real men in this team. I don't, but I'm talking about as an I don't disagree with you. But I'm talking about as an isolated incident. That's the first time I can actually hold my hands up and say, right, doing something like that is why I could see and want him to be a vice captain. But in that sense, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is a leader, and it doesn't mean that he should be a vice captain because based off the last 18 months, I don't think he should be. But I'm just going on that incident. It was nice to see on Thursday that he put aside his ego. I wanted Charleston to get a goal just for the sake of him scoring to help him. That's the only reason I agree with it. But
what I'm saying to you is we've had players in the past who have goal scoring penalty opportunities and like we say, and I'm just comparing it to Kane because he was the main penalty taker for Spurs. He would never, ever, ever have taken that risk. No matter how good you are on penalties, sometimes you have to, and Messi's done it for Barcelona in the past. Ronaldo's done it at teams where he's been at. There are so many times where people that have to show maturity and have to show why they're meant to be a leader take the knee in that situation and go, do you know what? Your goal is more important than my goal. As long as we get a goal, it doesn't matter. And that and the fact that we should have scored more and the fact that they never really look like scoring are the positives I'm going to take.
They had like a really good chance, I remember, when he played it goal in touch. It's kind of like similar to what you mentioned about Moore's chances.
Yeah.
And they also had another like I think they hit the post or something like that. I can't remember what it
No,
was.
they didn't post. I'm sorry. They didn't
I may have think for the other game against Carabao. Sorry.
Yeah, but yeah,
But they had,
to be honest with you,
my
we
problem
looked
is that
relatively comfortable.
we may have had a lot of possession, but I don't think we're effective in possession. I got to be honest with you, I nearly fell asleep at the stadium watching that.
Yeah, it was
It
a
was
slow
so
game.
bad.
I'm not gonna
So
lie, it
dead.
was a slow
It was
game.
so dead. The football was dead. That this whole Ange Ball thing is a myth. This whole
Right,
we play such
right, right.
amazing attacking football. I've seen better.
Before,
I'll be
right,
honest with you. I've seen better football under AVB Sherwood, who are fucking shit by the way. And I was more entertained by bloody Sherwood than watching what I watched
right.
on
I'm
Thursday.
gonna say two things based on Thursday. Obviously, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Thursday.
We can just
Number
talk about
one,
ability. In reality,
right? No, yeah. Hold on a second. Number one, we played a heavily rotated side. Now, you ask any manager, unless you are Real Madrid or the best Man United teams or Chelsea with their quadrillion players, unless you're one of the elite of the elite of the elite of the elite, there is always going to be a drop in quality when you rotate
then it goes back
more
to
than
Ange
three
because
or four
Ange picked
players.
this heavily rotated team. We spoke about before we kicked off the Europa League that in order to like make these youngsters into what they are or help some of the younger players like Grays and the Bergwals and
Yeah,
we needed to play them in sides where there was a lot of senior players around them. So they didn't. It's not like 9 changes like he did. Say make 4 or 5. So at least when they come into the side, it's relatively settled. They come in. I'm not saying Michael Moore didn't do well, by the way. He was our best player,
yeah.
100%, and the best player of this past week has been crap. And the thing is, like, and then you look at someone like Gray, who people sit there and argue and tell me should be in the midfield, and he plays him at right back, left back, centre back. Probably play him up front next game. I don't fucking know at this point. But like, or in goal. But like, because I don't even know where his best position is. It's like people keep telling me he's a 6. Ange doesn't play him as a 6. So what am I supposed to believe at this point without Archie Gray? But what I'm trying to say is, and that's another talking point. But in order for these players to bed into the squad or bed into the team, you can't just make 9 changes and expect them to do it. Moore is kind of an anomaly because his position is kind of a bit easier because he's just an attacking player. He's not like a central midfielder or right back in this inverted nonsense where they have to kind of play 2 positions at once. So this is why we get these crap performances because, like we said, sat here and said he shouldn't
Yeah.
rotate so much. And what does he fucking do? He still rotates.
Right, but let me ask you this question though. Obviously, we're about to go into the busiest period of the season, right?
Yeah.
Unless you make it into the final of 3 or 4 different competitions at the end of the year, this is the busiest period of the season we're about to go into. We've obviously spoken, and I'm not going to disagree. The evidence is out there. I'm not going to go and delete episodes. We point blank said that the best way is going to balance out some of these youngsters is to not rotate as heavily. The only exceptions for that are Mikey Moore because the left wing position is Werner or shit.
Or even
And the only other player I would say that has handled the rotation really well, regardless of whether you know what position is his best or not, is Archie Gray. When he has played, he's looked brilliant. Obviously, we still don't know where we want to play him, but Harry, he's 20 years old. You're expecting him to go out and be the next Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't understand.
And if he wants to develop Gray, or if the club wants to develop Gray, whoever it is, the bloody sign this player, because right now I just believe it's Ange because he says everyone's his. You pick one position to play him in, and you say, look, this is your position, like he did with Mikey Moore, put him on the left or the right.
But we at the start of the season, Paul O'Keefe tweeted saying that we had a very big issues with the Europa League numbers, and he's chosen to put Archie Gray in there because
4 keepers though.
But we needed the homegrown numbers. He's chose to put Archie Gray in there
to play on the keepers, surely.
But this is what I don't. To be fair, I don't disagree with you. I can't understand. I think Gray would be playing more in midfield if he played Spence. I think the only reason he's playing at right back is because he didn't register Spence.
This is down to Ange, but this is what I'm saying. As a development as a player, right? I'll look at someone like Tanganga, and I think Gray and Tanganga, I'm not saying the same type of player, by the way, but it's a very good comparison because Tanganga was one player that came from our academy. I know Gray didn't, right? But
similar age, yeah.
And he came in, I think Jose played him at centre-back or right-back in his first game.
Yeah, he was playing centre-back, then right-back,
going left, right, middle, left, right. And he didn't have like a set position. And I think that didn't help him at all. His injuries is another issue. But what I'm saying is, for these young players to develop, they kind of need a fixed position. Eamon Bale, before his breakthrough, originally he was a left back. It's only because of by chance, obviously, he ended up like further up the pitch. Yeah, But what I'm saying is, at least when he was developing, not that he was like incredible at the time, I still thought there was a player, by the way. At least he had a fixed position where you knew he'll play on the left hand side at least every game he was playing for Tottenham, whether it was left back or left wing. With Gray, I've seen him playing 3 or 4 different positions. It probably doesn't help his own development anyway, because you want to establish a place in the squad in a certain position. So, look, Gray's I'm not saying he is, by the way, he's now a centre back. He's going to be the centre back with Romero. But him moving him around is a massive problem because we're all seeing it confused, wondering why we signed him. I am personally, because he's 40 million. It's quite a lot on a youngster, and it's not his fault about the price tag. But I'm not seeing the specialness with him, and that's partly I think because he's been moved around so much.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. And I think if he was being played where I would play him, then I think we'd see so much more of a play.
I've never seen players as 6 because Angela doesn't play him as 6.
No, and it is frustrating. And I do hope that for the second half of the season, when it comes to re-registering Europa League,
I know he's the number 10. I'm not saying he's the answer, by the way, but at least I'm playing as a 10.
At least you know where he plays.
10, maybe in a couple of years he'll be better. I'm not that I agree with any of these transfers, by the way. I don't want to say answers. I'm kind of fed up. But what I'm saying is, for their own development, I think Gray and Moore have got more chances of succeeding because at least they're playing in a set position. But
I don't disagree with that. To be fair, so obviously, like I say. The heavy rotationness almost cost us away in Hungary, and then it almost cost us again on Thursday.
Hungary was a massive.
But let me ask you this question, though. Let's say we win 8 from 8, and we finish top of the group, automatically through to the round of 16, having been statistically the best team in the Europa League, and having made 9 changes every single week. At that point, as long as he doesn't do it again in the knockouts, would you not say that was worthwhile? Because it allows us to use the full depth of the squad. It allows us to maintain fitness, maintain match sharpness for squad players, which is more important for injuries. Because we both know in the past that when we've not played squad players in cup competitions and then we've had to play them, it's taken 6 to 8 weeks to get up to the level they need to be. And in those 6 to 8 weeks, they've made mistakes and we've struggled. And I think back to the best example I can give is Kevin Wimmer when he came in for Jan Vertonghen years ago. And he was never played off the bench. He was never played in cup games. He literally just came in when Jan was injured. And he was fantastic. But the first 3 or 4 games, he was really nervous. He scored no goal away at the Emirates. Like it took him a few games to get up to match fitness. So do you not think?
I look at the centre back pairing. All right, you have Davies and Dragusin. God help us, Ben Davies. But what I'm saying is, I think Dragusin would benefit more, for example. And even Davies kind of benefit more, maybe, by playing, say, Dragusin with either Romero or Van der Ven and rotating those two.
So you play Davies with Romero and Dragusin with Van der Ven rather than 6 to 1 after or the other?
Yeah, because at least they'll be playing. I think for me, Davies, I don't think he'll be playing there anyway. But what I'm saying is, I think Davies, if anything, should be playing on the left because at least you give Udogie a proper rest because he hasn't really had one. But what I'm saying is you play Dragusin with Romero or Van der Ven. And that's what I would do because at least Dragusin comes in because I think it's going to be...
He's used to playing with the players that he's been rotating with. I do understand that.
I just think he's tinkering, and the thing is, you say it gives us.
He's creating more problems for himself than what he needs to create by completely rotating. This isn't. I make all these jokes all the time. This isn't Football Manager. You can't rotate a full 11 like I do in the cup and still go and win. You have to make 2 or 3 changes.
So, say we beat. I don't know who we beat before. Did we beat anyone before we played the Europa League game? Who did we beat?
West Ham.
Say we went 4-1. I think that you're better off rotating, say, 5 of them in that game. And then
rotating the other 5 for Palace if you need to, or rotating the other 5 back. Because the thing is, there's nothing stopping you rotating 5, and then if you're 3 or falling up at half time, then rotate the other 5 out. I just think he's trying to show faith and belief in his full squad. When even though I don't think he fully believes in the full depth of the squad, but I think he's trying to show that. No, but my argument is, for example, there wasn't enough money. Regardless, I know your opinion on Levy. We're not going to get into that argument. I can't be asked. But regardless, there was not enough money to go and replace, bring in another backup left-sided centre back as well as a starter.
But we wasted all the money on Odegaard.
Hold on, but regardless, right? So there was never going to be the money this summer to go and sign Van der Ven and a backup for Van der Ven.
We had limited funds. We should have, instead of buying youngsters, we should have bought first-team players.
But if the club have gone, well, I don't know when Ben Davies' contract ends, but I'm assuming it's next year. Right? if you're saying, well, Ben Davies has got 12 months left on his contract, but a loyal centre got whatever, good squad player, can play left back. Hold on, let me finish, because otherwise I'm just going to scream. Then you're like, right, okay, I know in 12 months I've got to replace him anyway. Don't bother replacing him now. Prioritise positions that we don't have to upgrade in 12 months, but we might as well upgrade now. And then in 12 months, when he naturally leaves, and I think this is why, when you remember that centre-back who plays, there were two left players, one that played in Serie A and one that played in the French League. Both got some sort of injury at the start of the season. They were both our top 2 transfer targets, and we didn't sign either. And I spoke about at the start of the year that I think they were Ange's first choices to be rotation for Udogie. Because he couldn't get them this year, he wanted to wait. Now, it doesn't surprise me that everybody in the club knew we needed a left-back rotation for Udogie, that if Davies was going to be the left-sided centre-back rotation, we had to have someone to rotate with Udogie, or Davies was going to be covering 2 rotational positions, which meant either Van der Ven was going to be playing twice a week, or Udogie was going to be playing twice a week, right? Up until the point in which we have a significant enough lead that we can substitute players out, like he did when we were 3-0 up, and he subbed off Van der Ven in the Europa League earlier in the campaign, and like when he subbed off, yeah, and like when he subbed off Udogie getting into the last 15, 20 minutes when we've got a good enough lead. So we all knew that. We all knew we needed a left-sided player. Ange couldn't get the player he wants. And we've spoken before, and you've said, you explicitly, I'm going to use your own words against you, you explicitly, when Jose signed Rodon, you explicitly said he did not want Joe Rodon, he wanted Ruben Diaz. Instead of getting his first choice target wasn't available, he went to another club. Instead of going and getting the second choice target, we got the 4th or 5th choice target because the next player wasn't as good enough value for money as the first choice option. Now, this exact situation, Ange knows who he wants to be a backup rotational left back, because we were only linked to 2 the entire summer. Neither one of those, well, I can't remember their names exactly, but
is it Vanderson's a right back though? He's not.
No, it wasn't Vanderson. We were linked with a guy in the French league, a French left-sided centre back, and an Italian. No, it wasn't. And there's an Italian left back for Lec, I think. Or something like that. I don't know. I can find it, but I'm not going to do it right in a second. It'll take forever. But we were linked with 2 left-side centre-backs, 2 left backs, one from France, one from Italy. And they were the only 2 major left-sided links we had to be Udogie's rotation. Hold on. Let me finish. We couldn't sign either of those. So rather than going and signing some player from I don't know where, that in 2 years' time Andrew's got to get rid of, he's gone, right, I've got Ben Davies for 12 months, so I'm going to wait for 12 months and get who I actually want, rather than buying someone who we've then got to get rid of for half of what we paid in 12 months' time.
And why did you sign Werner?
Because he's only signed Werner on loan because he can't get who he wanted, whoever it was he wants, or whoever it was he was thinking about to get a left wing starter.
How do you know that though? Because he signed Werner twice now.
Because there's no way, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit who you are. There is no way on earth you can watch him play, right? And you can sit there and say, yep, he's going to be honest, right? Hand on heart, I'm saying this now on stream. Timo Werner signs a permanent contract for Tottenham Hotspur in the summer. I will buy next year 3 people who listen to this entire podcast who like and share it a Spurs shirt. That's how confident.
Run on the back or not?
No, that's like torture. With a hand on heart, that's how confident I am. We will not sign Werner in the summer. No, you and I have both turned around and said that Son will be a more rotational left wing next summer, and we'll bring in a starter.
No. My problem is that you bring someone like Mikey Moore, right, and you say Moore, you're going to learn off someone.
Yeah.
Sonny for me is not a winger anymore. I wouldn't personally put him on the wing. If anything, we have striker problems right now. I'll put him in the middle anyway. But for me, if I'm more and I'm in training and I'm watching the other left wingers, Son by the way is like injured a lot, but and for me he's way better in the middle. As shown early in the season when he got his 2 goals. But you look at Werner and you're like, well, I'm going to learn off this guy.
You're not
a hot winger.
He's already. Okay, let me ask you this question then: would you be surprised in the summer? Because this is how I would expect it to go. Richarlison sold. Werner's loan is cancelled. Son rotates in the middle, and we bring in a left winger to compete with Moore. That's what I'd expect to happen.
I mean, I don't think Andrew will be here next summer anyway, but
well, we'll get into that in a minute.
This is why I look at the money it's spent on Odegaard, right? With the conversation we just had, and on the wages on Werner. which is 160k a week, by the way. The guy's stealing living at this point.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not even going to fight you on Werner anymore. I agree.
We've been on great. So that's what 70 minutes.
But I disagree with your assessment on Gray. I'm sorry, but I've seen enough of him play.
We didn't find more youngsters. Okay, we had more in the background. I heard a lot about him before he was even played. Right, I didn't watch any of the friendlies because I don't really judge a player on friendly games, and I don't think it's a good judge of thing. And even with Bergvall, people bang on, Bergvall's amazing, he played in Sweden, blah, blah, blah. He came here and I'm not to see anything special out of him. Looks all right.
I wouldn't disagree with
Maybe
that.
Maybe in 2-3 years he'd be better, but like, again, it's money might be wasted in the end. But like for me, I look at the transfer window we had. We signed Solanke, who, to me, I'm yet to seem impressed with him either. And he was our only first choice player in that whole team, by the way, who's gone, like first team players gone in Solanke, right? And obviously that's pushed Son into the left. So I kind of blame whoever, I don't know who decided to do that, but anyway. And then we signed a load of youngsters, Gray, Odeberg.
But okay, let me tell you this though, right?
Instead of signing these youngsters, go out and sign 3 first team players.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this though.
There's no justification for signing more youngsters.
Right. Let me tell you this though. The way I view this transfer window, and we'll see come the end of the summer. And the reason why I'm saying it is, you have 2 different types of transfer windows. You have a progression transfer window, and you have a competitive transfer. Let me speak before I fucking scream. We have a progression transfer window and we have a competitive transfer window. A competitive transfer window is Man City going and signing Erling Haaland because they need a striker and they are at the top ready to compete for trophies. Or Liverpool going and signing Van Dijk and Alisson because they're the final 2 players they need to complete the puzzle. Now, you cannot tell me, I'm sorry, I don't want to hear any bullshit. You cannot tell me we are 3 players away from challenging for the Premier League. We're not. So this transfer, right? So the summer,
a trophy.
Fuck right off. You cannot say that. I just that's bullshit. Right?
No, it's not bullshit. It's true.
It's bullshit. We are not 3 players away from winning a trophy. We're not.
We are.
Name me. What 3 players would you sign then to win a trophy?
Eze, number 1, or Rafinha. I mean, Rafinha's gone now, but anyway.
All right, Eze plays for a mid-table club. All right, we lost him. That's not the point.
And Napoli, number 2. That fits.
Okay.
That's
it doesn't fix our wing problem.
Fix the wing problem.
It doesn't. It doesn't because his work rate and his pressing isn't good enough. But okay, go on. The fucking whatever his name is, the Georgian fella.
How much did you see him play, Kvaratskhelia?
I saw him play plenty in the build-up to him joining Spurs, and one of the reasons that people didn't want to sign him was because he doesn't press enough. He's not athletic enough. He's burnt out by the 60th, 70th minute.
Have you not seen him play that much anyway? But anyway, I would say, mate, the guy is going to be one of the best players in the world in like 1 or 2 years.
I don't think so. I think he'll be one of those players that falls short. But never mind.
No, mate, the guy is.
And what's your third player?
We're going to sign a left back.
So you think we're a backup left back?
I've got Edison. Sorry, Atalanta. That's what I've got.
So you think we are a mid-level box-to-box midfielder and 2 wingers away from
number 6, by the way, Edison, not a box-to-box.
I mean, when he played for Atalanta last year, he played further forward. But okay, whatever.
Number 6, but anyway.
Whatever. So you think we're 1 midfielder and 2 wingers away from winning a trophy?
Yeah, because our wingers are shit.
That's absolute bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
Our wingers are shit, and because we moved Son on the left, yeah, and we put Solanke and Richarlison, who, by the way, at this point, there's not much between them, in my opinion, in terms of levels. Yeah, they're not world class. They're all right. I'd rather have Son in the middle as a clinical finisher, right, and have 2 people just pinging balls to him, bro. Just hit it in.
But no one's all right. But okay, but no, it's not like Solanke's missing an abundance of chances. No one's putting the ball into him.
But he's not doing anything anyway.
What do you mean? Are you fucking blind? Are you joking me? What do you mean he's not doing anything? His press is so integral in how high up we win the ball back.
I don't care how much he presses. He doesn't show it. Like as a winger personally or a playmaker, I'm looking for players' runs, yeah. I'm watching us, yeah, and it's all static, yeah, all static.
But the system's not built for runs. Oh my god, we're not a counter-attacking side.
How did we score all those goals with Son in Ange's first season? They're all runs off the ball, one touch. Look at Son's goal against Arsenal, right? Or 2 goals against Arsenal, right? That was like through balls, pretty much. Maddison and Son clicked so well in Ange's first season because of the through balls and the link-up play they had. That's completely gone because you're moving Son to the left, so that's pretty much locked.
Right, I don't disagree. You know my opinion. I don't disagree that Son can't play on the left, and I don't disagree that this should be his last season as a starter. And we've spoken last week. I'm not going to talk about it again.
But for me,
last week that he should be kept on the squad.
This isn't a whole Son argument. For me, I think he's our best option up front. So I disagree. I would have signed 2 wingers in the summer and forget the.
Okay, but if you look at the wingers, we were linked to. Eze was 50 of the 60 million up front in one payment. And Nico Williams refused to leave.
Yeah, I didn't blame the club for Nico Williams. I blame the club for Nico Williams because we could have really moved on him way before.
So they were the 2 wingers that we were linked to the whole summer.
Eze was more than doable.
I don't think. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. I'm not going to say Arsenal because their wingers are fucking shit.
They're better than ours, though.
Talking about Man City and Liverpool, if they were to sell Diaz, Liverpool, and Grealish, Man City, do you think either of their first choices would be Eze?
Maybe. Let's see what
if the answer is right, let me ask you this. If we want to be...
City were linked with Eze. You don't know.
I could link you to my fucking nan if I tried hard enough. That's fucking...
Right, calm down, unless you want to.
Shut up. No. The reason why I'm saying that is because we're sitting there and we're saying that we want to be a title challenging team. If the 2 teams that look like they're going to push each other for the title this year, if he wouldn't be their first choice, he shouldn't be. Going by your theory, right? Also, hold on.
Non-kamikaze style play compared to us.
It doesn't matter. Going based on.
You bang about systems all the time.
Going based on your transfer policy of transfer windows, if you were a manager, about signing players that are going to definitively push you to the title. If Liverpool sold Ruben Diaz right now, not Ruben Diaz, Luis Diaz, would Eze be their first choice, or second choice, or third choice? The answer's no. The answer's no.
They don't play the same style as us, David.
They play with two wingers that invert. They literally play 4-2-3-1.
They don't play the same style as us. I watched them against Arsenal yesterday. They don't play the same styles. They don't. One with us, right? We invert the fullbacks. Okay.
But we've stopped doing that half as much as we were before.
We did it on Sunday, plenty. It probably caused the problem because that's why they used Eze, right? There was one instance I remember in that game. They play one long ball, which always does us anyway. But and then I saw Porro trying to sprint back because he's in some awkward position, and then you see Eze get the ball. I mean, you saw how calamitous the goal was. That was another discussion for another day because him playing out the back is getting. I'm fed up with this crap anymore. We're overplaying so much at the back. Sometimes you just need to get rid of it. I don't know why Romero thinks. And I've seen. The problem is, I would blame it to Romero, but I've seen a pass like this against West Ham. They did the same thing, where he played the ball across the goal, and I think the West Ham played.
Right, let's finish Thursday before we go on Sunday because I can't be asked. Right. Can you say that the biggest problems on Sunday were the fact that Timo Werner's shit, we rotated too heavily, and we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net? Thursday. Other than that, we were generally okay Thursday, and if we'd have won that game 3-0, you wouldn't have half the problems that you had. Agree?
Well, we didn't win the game 3-0.
Oh, no, but okay. But if we'd have rotated half the squad, not the full squad.
I told you I was falling asleep, so that should tell you a lot about the football.
Yeah, but you want us to play like Barcelona all the time, and it's never going to happen. Right, anyway.
I don't play like Barcelona.
Thursday done. We should have...
Effective football. This is not effective football. This is boring. It's not even effective.
Thursday done, spoken about whatever. Right, I'm going to address your boring thing before we fucking talk about Palace, because I don't want to have to comment last week. We all knew that was going to bite me in the arse, to be fair. Right, talk about your style of boring football. Right, I know what you're going to throw at me, all stats on everything, whatever. I don't give a shit.
3 away wins in 2024.
Right, I'm not going to disagree that the results leave a lot to be desired. I'm not going to disagree, right? Because I looked at the results, and yes, they leave a lot to be desired. And when we play badly, we are woeful. But when we play well, we are generating the most chances, we are scoring the most goals, we are creating the most chances in the Premier League. I don't give a shit who you are or what you say. Those numbers, we didn't play glamorous football under Poch the entire time, but we scored goals.
We were more balanced under Poch.
We weren't so attack heavy.
Even under Redknapp.
All right, but what do you want then? Do you want balance or do you want attacking football? Because you can't have both.
balance. But what I'm saying,
Right, we'll sack Ange and we'll go and get a mid-table manager then, if that's what you want.
No, let me finish because I said we use the word boring because everyone keeps going about how Ange is amazing football. I'm sitting there watching the game and I'm like, pass it this way.
But no offense, Harry, we could win 5-0 and you'd fall asleep. We could win 5-0 and you'd fall asleep.
No, not playing like that. Honestly, the football under Redknapp was way better than this. Football under Poch was way better than this. Even the football under Martin was better than this. And I'm using attacking football managers as an example because those three managers had better football than this.
Okay, but let me.
Martin Yole beat Jose's Chelsea, bro. Straight off, they won the title.
Right, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, though, right? Playing this way and playing this style to get it right requires the absolute top of the top level players in retrospect.
We're not playing them anyway, so what's the point?
Please let me finish. In retrospect to the other teams you'll compete with. So when he was at Celtic, he had the best team in the league, and he didn't just win the league, he destroyed the league. When he was in Japan, he didn't have the best team in the league, but he built the best team in the league, and then he destroyed the league. When he was in the Asian Cup with Australia, he didn't have the best team, but he built the best players he had in that position, trained them to play as his system's at absolute max capacity. Obviously, it's different because you've only got a tournament once every few years rather than yearly. But by the time it came around, and he won Australia's only international trophy, to my knowledge. So what we need more of a balance in terms of the squad. If we had a left winger who could finish and who understood how to play a pass, and we had a left back to rotate with a doggy, and we had a centre back who didn't run like he was 50. Ben Davies, sorry, bro, but you know, and we had another option in midfield. Then I don't disagree that we would be closer to where we need to be. But with the squad we've got, whether you like it or not, the numbers show that we are performing, like, statistically up there with the best of the best teams. The results aren't showing that, and the consistencies in terms of when we play bad, we're awful one end of the scale, and when we play well, we're really good the other end of the scale. But the data shows that we are there. We had the conversation. We've said it 2 or 3 times this year. Hold on. We've had the conversation, and we've said it several times already this year, that if you score 75 to 80 goals in the Premier League, you are going to be there or thereabouts no matter what. Now, Spurs are at the point where we could hit those kind of goals scored. And our goals conceded are going to be less, yes. But in these games where we're losing 1-0, or where we're losing 3-2, or where we're losing narrowly by 1 goal, that's where it's going to cost us. That's where we're going to suffer. And we are 9th right now because some of the performances haven't got the results they deemed to be appropriate.
That's almost half our game,
right? If I go through the fixtures, 2 seconds.
That's almost half our games.
2 seconds. If I go through the fixtures, so Brighton Palace score, we were shit. Brighton, again, we fell off in that. I know it was a game of 2 halves, but if we played like we played in that first half, in that second half, that's 3 points. Beat Man United, beat Man United, beat Carabao, beat Coventry. Arsenal was a 50-50 game. Both teams were shit. They scored from a set piece. Newcastle, we were woeful. Leicester should have won, and then that was the start of the season.
Yeah.
No.
You're not saying I should have, would have. Like,
no, what I'm saying, right, Harry, what I'm saying to you is if in those games where Son started, Son's actually on the bench, Vern is somewhere locked up in a prison in Germany for his terrorist football, and you've got a top-level left winger starting, that's... You cannot, I don't care who you are, what you are, no matter what, you cannot go into a club and completely change an entire starting 11 in one transfer window. You can't do it. You just cannot do it. And we always knew, and anybody who thought otherwise was kidding themselves. It was always going to be a 3-summer project. Always going to be a 3-summer project.
No. Ange doesn't do more than 2 years anyway.
That's not true. He wins stuff in his second year, but he's at clubs for more than 2 years. It was always going to be a 3-step project.
His longest stint was at one club for like 3 years or something. Apart from that, he spends 2 years at a club and he fucks off.
Yeah, because he's completed what he needs to complete. He always knew that being at Spurs was going to take longer.
Being a project doesn't work even with Ange, because Ange doesn't do projects.
No, right. You're taking the word literally. By project, I mean as in like you're always going to get one or two first team players in one position one summer, one or two first team players in a position next summer, one or two players first team in the next summer. It was always going to be. You were never going to go. Oh, you were a fucking idiot if you really thought that we were going to go and sign 6 first team players in his first summer.
No, because I 3 in one and 3 in the other.
It was never going to happen. It was never going to happen.
It's not that hard. We said 6 first team players, 3 in one window in the first window, 3 in the second.
And for it to be a first team player, you're looking at least 45 million, going based on what James Maddison cost, right? So you're telling me we're going to go and spend 135 million, if my maths is correct, in one transfer window on 3 first team players?
We spent 400 million altogether on and you could have dropped 200 million on 3 of them and 200 million on another 3.
There's no way we spent that much money.
Game over. 3 £70 million players there, 3 £70 million over there. And that's it. That's 6 13 players who 70 million will get you like a pretty decent player in this day and age. That's an Eze, literally.
But I think you're putting Eze like he's one of the best wingers in the world, and he's not.
But in the system we play, right, there's a reason why they were looking at him.
So you're telling, right, okay, don't disagree with that, but you can't tell me he's up there with one of the best in the world in this position.
Who are we going to sign then?
But I don't know. I'm not Spurs manager, am I? If you gave me fucking a year unemployed where you paid my bills and my rent and my fucking food shopping and my car insurance, where I could go and sit and scout everyone in the world, I could probably give you a fucking 100 options.
I know, but the problem is you keep saying, "Oh, there's no one better than Eze." Well, I gave you names and you're dismissing them.
Yeah, because I don't think they're better than Eze. You watch one cameo of a player and assume that they're the best player in the world.
Eze was brilliant last season as well. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
All right, okay, no problem. And so was Mateta. And how many goals he got so far this season? 1.
No, Mateta was kind of carried by Eze and Elise, really.
Oh, man, I hate the fact you just bend every fucking argument to prove a point, even though the point's over. All right, but even so, you're saying Eze was great last season. Okay, cool. So if we paid 70
against us, don't you remember that?
Right, and if we paid £70 million for the Eze that's been this season, would you be happy with that?
Yeah, but then he probably would be happier.
Sorry?
We spent a whole of last week talking about how unsettled Palace were, and now you're telling me Eze should be performing when he's unsettled.
If you're a professional, grow up and get on with it.
No, we looked at Eriksen. We had Eriksen at Tottenham. Remember how unsettled he was? He was like in and out.
Yeah, but he was being a bitch.
Yeah, but professionals, they're just like this, unfortunately. Like, it's just Glasner. You said Glasner was unsettled. You said, Eze was unsettled. I can't remember one of the names. Anderson obviously left. Like, Palace have suffered, but then came top of Tottenham. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is Eze walks into our team. That's what I'm trying to say. That's a very.
I say he gets into our team. And he starts, but if you're asking me, would he? Excuse me. If you're asking me 5 years time,
he's not going to take us in a title race. But that's why you said 6 first team players. I gave you 400 million that we spent on with Ange. That's 6 first team players.
All right, but okay then. But go through that then. So go through those players. One of them was Solanke. Now, whether you disagree or not, I don't give a shit. No disrespect. Whether you disagree or not, he was Ange's first choice. Doesn't matter.
Maybe that's the problem.
Right. You sat there. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this again. You sat there for year upon year upon year upon year. Every year, back the manager. Give the manager who he wants. Fuck who the fans want. Give the manager who he wants. Fuck who the fans want. Give the manager who he wants. And the first summer, Daniel Levy gives him his exact first choice. You're not happy.
Because I don't
because
rate
you
the
didn't
manager.
want to sign him.
I don't rate the manager.
But right, whether you rate the manager or not, the manager's here. It's tough shit. So support the manager or don't support the manager. Make a decision.
I don't support the manager.
Right, but whether you support the manager or not, you support Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And if he's the one in the job, and he's the one in the...
As soon as he agreed to sign Timo Werner twice, he was done. I was done with the guy. Why bring Werner back for another year? What's the fucking point?
Right, okay, but let's say Levy's gone to him, because you know Daniel Levy, you should criticise him for the last decade. You go to Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy comes into your office and goes, Harry, you've only got one left winger this summer. You can have this guy on loan, or you can have no one. But if he gets injured, like, good luck playing a goalkeeper at left wing. What are you going to do? Just not take him?
From what I heard, personally, I'd rather have no one than Werner personally. But I'd rather just play.
But that's not true. That's bullshit. You know that's bullshit, because if you're playing 60 games a season, you need the depth.
Why would Levy sanction 160 grand a week on Werner? deep it, please, because
okay, Levy sanctioned 65 million on Ndombele, 45 million on Lo Celso, 30 odd million on Ryan Sessegnon.
Ndombele is a different scenario though, because he was 24. Actually, kind of fit the Levy remit more. Let's be honest, like that age, he was obviously a European. He brought the fans on side. He brought him another year. Like, how's Werner going to buy Levy another year?
No, it's not about buying Levy another year. But what I'm saying to you is, if you're a manager,
the Spurs age potential remit thing, right?
Which is why it was a loan.
No, but this is what I'm saying. It's 160 grand.
Hold on. 1 minute, Harry's like, don't sign players under the age of 35, and the next minute we sign a player who's old and he doesn't want it. Well, I know that, but that's not the point. You can't have it both ways. You can't have everything. You can't have experience. You want us to go and sign £100 million players in their peak years when we are not Real Madrid. Stop acting like it. We are Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Arsenal did it. We're richer than Arsenal.
Right, okay, and Arsenal went and fucking pay a rapist in midfield every week. Do you really want to be like Arsenal?
They bought bloody Declan Rice, mate.
All right, and they still play rapist in midfield. That's not the point. Regardless, you need to sit.
There's a reason why Arsenal are where they are, because they finally...
And Arsenal have won the exact same amount of Premier Leagues in the last 10 years than us. What's your argument?
What do you mean? Arsenal won more Premier Leagues than us in the whole history.
Arsenal have won right, and we're not talking about the whole history. We're talking about the last 10 years. We're talking about Poch's era, whatever. Arsenal have won...
How many FA Cups have they won, though? We've won
2.
Nothing since 91. No, actually, it's more than that. It's actually like 3 or 4.
Since, last 10 years? I'm pretty sure they've only won twice.
Twice under Wenger, once under his first year.
Wenger's been gone 10 years now, hasn't he?
First year under Arteta.
Yeah, that's 1.
That's 3.
That's 1.
That's 3. They won 2.
No, yeah, but when did Wenger go? Wenger went 2012.
Remember they beat Hull in 2014 or something, and then they beat Villa the year after, straight after. That's 2 FA Cups.
Hey Siri, what year did Arsene Wenger leave Arsenal?
I think it's like 2018 or 19, something like that.
Oh, it doesn't fucking tell me. Because I thought he left earlier than that, to be fair.
No, Wenger won in 2014. He won when Ramsey scored that goal against Hull. Because remember they were 2-0 down or something?
Sorry, yeah, he left in 2018. All right, then. So in the last 6 years... No, my point still stands... All right. Sorry, 3 FA Cups. My point still stands.
Hull has won FA Cups.
In the last 10 years, how many Premier Leagues have Arsenal won? How many European trophies have Arsenal won? Right, that's my point. 0. They've won 0.
We haven't won trophies.
You're telling me. So you're telling me. Right. Hold on. You're telling me that the £1 billion that Arsenal have spent since God knows when is worth 3 FA Cups.
We would take that because we spent how much on players under Ange? 400 million. That's half of it almost.
There's no way we spent 400 million under Ange. I refuse to believe it.
He said that the most money spent is crazy. It's actually nuts. It's actually nuts. But that's all transfer windows. I'm not saying just one window.
So Tottenham Hotspur in the last 4 years, we spent 93 million, 151, 141, 61, and 97. This is euros, by the way. Right, so that's 544.58. But when you consider the fact that Harry Kane is 100 million of that,
it's still 400.
Shut up. We've sold other players in that market as well. It's probably about 350 by the time you take into account all the sales and it is a lot of money. Yeah.
And you just said, oh yeah.
Okay. Hold on then. Arteta's been there 4 years because he's just signed a contract extension. So he's been there 3 or 4 years now. If Wenger left in 2018, Arteta's been there 6 years.
I think it's been 4 years.
No, Emery was there, wasn't he? Emery was there originally. So yeah, Arteta's been there 4 years. Ange is halfway, not even halfway through his second season. So based on your argument, let's spend the exact same amount of money as Arsenal and as Arsenal have done under Arteta. Let's give Ange the exact same time as what they gave Arteta. Give him 4 years. Hold on 2 seconds. And if we've not won anything. In that 4 years, then I'll hold my hands up and say, you know what? Ange's shit. Harry knows everything. Let's make him manager of Tottenham. I don't know fuck all, whatever. But I guarantee you that's not going to be the case.
Because Ange won't be here next season anyway.
He will be.
No, he won't. He's gone by Christmas, mate. It'll be my nice Christmas
definitely
present. I'll be like, yes, come on. But anyway, like for me, there's a difference between
right. Hold on. I'm going to pause that.
Number one, Arteta won the FA Cup in his first season and adapted a lot because he had shit defenders. He played a back five against City as well in that run, plus in other games because he knew he had crap defenders.
And so he's been committing terrorism ever since.
Let me finish. Yeah, he pushed City, which by the way, win a title pretty much every season, pretty much to the end. Yeah,
still bowled it. Next.
Let me finish. You're not going to let me. They've been in the Champions League longer than last in the past 4 years. Now, since and it's not just that. Yeah, Arteta is a very big difference between Arteta and Ange. Arteta is in the first managerial position ever in his life, right? Ange is 56, right? He's been in a managerial position for 20 years. I'm not going to afford the guy who's been, and on his CV, he's got more experience than Arteta. Let's be honest, he has got more experience than Arteta. Yeah. Whether it's good or bad experience or high level experience, people bang on about the SPL in Japan. Like we should respect Ange because he won in the shit league, which
still won more league titles than you.
Let me finish. Gerrard won in, who came and bottled it at Villa. Yeah, and Japan, who no one, I don't even know level Japan, but I doubt it's very high. But like Arteta's in his first managerial position as a manager, right? I have more leeway with someone. Say we brought in a young manager like the guy at Brighton. Yeah. I'd have more leeway with that guy because at least he's 32 in his first few years in management. Because I'll be like, this guy, he's inexperienced, right? A good example, say you're at a company, right, and they're looking to employ two different people, yeah. So what they do, are they going to employ the guy who's been in the crap job for 20 years of his life, right? Crap level company, 20 years of his life, who's done the same thing every day, basically, pretty much. Let's be honest, and does the same taxes every game, pretty much. So, or a manager who's fresh out of uni, who's willing to learn. Would you give more years to the guy who, like I just said, does the same thing every day? Has been in the company for 20s.
I give more years to the guy who's experienced because I know that he has a track record, however long it takes, of getting the right outcome no matter what. And you can't say he hasn't done that because he's done it everywhere.
His track record is the crap leagues.
Right, okay, but you're right. No offense, Harry. Put your coaching qualifications on the table. Put your first team manager medals on the table.
You're not a manager either. You're not a manager either. So
and the difference is I have some sort of respect for people that are. I don't give a shit. Right, any manager. Right, so many managers come from nothing when they make it. Right, Pep was a great player. Yes, he was lucky. He was gifted a Barcelona squad when he first became manager. And change the way they play football, whatever. All right. You look at like Vincent Kompany, for example. He was great with Burnley in the Championship, outstanding, broke all sorts of records. Awful with Burnley because he didn't have the players to keep up with his play style. If he goes to win the Champions League this year, what does he deserve?
Bayern right now.
What do you mean? Look at the state of Bayern. They're top of the Bundesliga. Kane scoring goals out of his arsehole.
They lost, didn't they lose the other week?
Oh, sorry, they lost to a manager. But what? Hold on, you've literally just made the argument about giving managers with more experience.
I was talking about Villa, by the way.
What do you mean?
They lost the other week, didn't
right, but he lost to a manager with 10 times more experience and 10 times more right record.
What's his experience? What was his experiences compared to Angelotti's?
Whose?
Angelotti's.
Angelotti's. He AC Milan, Chelsea. He's the only manager to win in the top 5 leagues everywhere. What do you mean? What's his experience in comparison to Ange?
Won anything in the top 5 leagues?
Because this is the first opportunity he's had to manage in one.
Ancelotti is about pretty much almost the same age. They're pretty much the same age, aren't they? And he's been in Europe's top 5 leagues for years. Obviously, did shit at Chelsea. Not shit as in he did good shit at Chelsea. He did bits at Real Madrid. He even had a stint at Everton. Obviously, that didn't go very well. But what I'm trying to say is there's a reason why this guy is not being picked up before he's been to 56.
Right. First of all, there's 10 years difference between Ange and Ancelotti.
And when did Ancelotti first get his big gig?
I'm just checking now.
Because I doubt he was 56.
Sorry, there was 6 years, sorry. Ancelotti's first gig as a manager was some shit Serie A team, then Parma, then Juventus, then Milan, then Chelsea, then PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Napoli, Everton, Real Madrid. So apart from Everton and Napoli, once he managed Juventus, which was February 1999, he had 2 average jobs before that. His first big job, and then he never, apart from Everton and Napoli, never had a shit job after that. Now, so you're telling me, all right, yes, cool, he was younger. But the difference is Ancelotti's right, but Ancelotti's pedigree as a player was higher than
Ange's, is that what you're saying?
Ange's, yeah.
Ange was really good friends during, was it Johan Cruyff or something? Someone told me.
No, he was managed by Puskas.
Yeah,
but this is what I'm saying. Okay, one of the best players to play the game thought Ange was going to be an incredible coach, but Harry from London thinks he's shit. Like, I'm just saying, right? Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. I'm a white male. I'm born into a family. I'm not me physically. I'm talking as an example. I'm born into a family of wealth, whatever. And I get my first chance to go to a football trial. I'm a kid who's on the poverty line, whose boots have holes in, and I get a chance to go to a trial. If we both play to the same ability, who's more likely to get picked?
I don't know. It's the same.
It's not the same. Society doesn't work like that. Jobs don't work like that. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. Ancelotti got himself into a fortunate enough position to get the job he did at the age he did. If Ange was Italian with a fancy name and a exotic accent, then, sorry for those guys on Spotify, I didn't just see the jazz hands, an exotic accent, then he might have got the same. Right.
I think where Ange could have built himself up, and I'm talking for myself, he could have gone to a Greek club, right, and done bits at a Greek club, and then another European club could have seen him and picked him up and said, look, say Seville or something, I don't know, something like, oh, look, he's done really well in Greece, he's apparently done some amazing rebuild. He's taking some Greek team who've not won in flipping years. But
that's exactly what he did in Japan. Why do you get to determine that the Greek league's better than the Japanese league?
The fact that, because everyone uses this Wenger argument with me, right? And they say, well, Wenger was in Japan and look how good he is now. He was at Arsenal. But Wenger also had experiences in France before he went to Japan. If you look at his CV, because I actually did some Googling when people started throwing these arguments at me about Ange. And then it's like, well, how about Sir Alex? Sir Alex is a 1 in a million manager. We might never get a manager as good as Sir Alex in our lifetime, or maybe ever.
We have. He's currently managing Manchester City.
For me, Sir Alex is better, but anyway. But we know Pep's build-up was very different.
Right, and Sir Alex Ferguson was one game away from being sacked from Man United, having played absolutely awfully, and he got a lucky result in that game. I believe it was a last-minute draw or something, and look at what he went on to win.
But then again, he's an anomaly. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Because everyone relates into, look at Sir Alex. Because a lot of people made Sir Alex comparisons with Poch, I remember as well. But
Poch, they did too.
To Poch's credit, he did his time in Spain with Espanyol, which is a Europe's top 5 league. Yeah, I wouldn't say Poch was an amazing player, but I didn't even know who bloody was. But apparently played.
He played for PSG, so you know.
PSG won the PSG we know now. Let's be honest.
They had Ronaldinho at the time when he played there, and Arteta, by the way, who you fucking mumlick all the time. But let's not even go there.
Not mumlick. I'm just saying he's a better manager than Ange. I'm not saying he's the best manager ever.
So I'll tell you what then, Harry. Don't worry about it, because when we play City, we'll play 5 centre backs, 4 defensive midfielders, 1 player up front, and we'll start playing terrorist football, and because that's better football than attacking football, right? Because that's what Arteta's doing right now.
Win the game with like that. Because in previous years, when we beat City, we played counter-attacking football. We bloody won the game. Do you not remember?
I do remember. City was a bad example. Okay, next home game, when we play Ipswich at home, we'll play 5 centre-backs and 4 defensive midfielders. I don't even know if we have 4 defensive midfielders. You're going to extremes
now. Because what I'm saying
but that's what Arteta's doing. That's what Arteta's doing.
Did you not watch? Did you not watch the last when they play smaller teams? They literally blow them away. Arteta rarely plays 5 at the back anyway. It's only when they play City and they had 10 men and they had to go.
It's 4 centre backs, not 5, but still.
Yeah, 4 centre backs is a good choice because they play.
4 centre backs.
Let me finish because they invert as well. Yeah, the difference is their centre backs don't all go at the same time. Also, there's a reason why they play centre backs because, as you know, Arsenal was sick on set pieces. Yeah, they get so many goals on set pieces, as you saw on the weekend.
Yeah, because there's 4 centre backs in the box.
But what I'm saying is they're using something, right? Something that I wish we did.
Let's play more centre back and so we can win by set pieces.
It's not the actual centre back. It's the way they defend. Yeah, they're flipping solid, mate. And it's not just that. Yeah, look at the corner routine they do. Yeah, I've never seen Spurs do any original corner.
Being given praise for playing full centre backs and scoring from corners. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Pulis, welcome to the podcast this week.
No, because
right, Bournemouth, they lost to Bournemouth. Hold on, they lost to Bournemouth. Centre back. Saliba got sent off. Ben White.
Yeah, they had 10 men, David.
All right, with a centre back who you say is better than Christian Romero. So make your mind up.
He's still better than Romero.
Wait, he's. Anyway, and then defensive midfielder, rapist.
Start the season blaming Romero for all our mistakes instead of looking at the manager.
Again, Southampton at home. Centre back. Defensive midfielder at right back. Defensive midfielder. They didn't have 10 men against Southampton. So, they won 3-0. No, they won 3-1.
Why are you criticizing? They won 3-1.
Leicester.
They won 3-1.
Centre back. Defensive midfielder. Like, if you want us to go and play 4 centre back, right, Harry, let me ask you this question.
That's not what I said.
You want us to play like Arteta?
No, what I'm saying is our football is not effective. We're not balanced, okay? If we inverted the fullbacks, okay, and we had a number 6, for example, we could drop in and have a 3, and then you could tell, look, fullbacks invert, wingers play very wide because now we have the space because they've been taken up by the fullbacks, right? But he doesn't play with the 6. It's another massive mistake because we're probably one of the only players in the bloody Europe without a team with, in Europe without the 6. I can't think of even one team in the Premier League without a number 6 nowadays. Makalady was the OG number 6, by the way. So it just doesn't work, man. This football is just not. It's kamikaze. It doesn't work. It's not balanced.
Okay, Harry. Let me ask you this question. You take over to Spurs tomorrow. Yeah. First game. What's your starting 11?
Well, I don't have many choices right now. But okay,
just answer the question.
Vicario. Okay, back 3: Dragusin, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie left wing back, Porro right wing back, midfield. I'm going Bentancur, Sarr, and I'd put Kulusevski in the 10, or Maddison. I mean, for me, that's a kind of toss-up. And then I'd play Son up front with Solanke. That's what I'd do.
To be fair, I can't actually disagree with that, because the difference is I actually have, right, I'll finish mine in a second. How would the team play? Instructions, like philosophy, how would you set the team up?
Well, we have wing backs. So what I'd do is I'd let the wing backs stretch the play and put crosses in. On the ball, on the floor, on the air, whatever. And I'd let Maddison play the through balls, or could I say play the through balls as the 10. I'm not saying we have to play it all in the air, by the way. I'm just theorising stuff. Yeah. And then I'll say there's the 3 centre-backs to stay, and obviously do that triangle shit they do. And I'd tell Bentancur to drop, so we have like a kind of like diamond also, like defence. So you have the first line, Bentancur. Let Sarr play the running up and down role. Yeah. So he's the one who links the play, basically. And I'd tell to Maddison or then to Kulusevski. I mean, Kulusevski has a tendency to drop off a bit, but say Maddison, just for this example, to play in like the whole follow-up pitch where, as we know, he's more effective and not closed up by these inverted fullbacks. He'll probably enjoy it more. Spraying balls to Son and Solanke, through balls to Son and Solanke to score the goals. Easy.
That's described by football tactics.
Defensive solidity. Attacking wide players, because obviously, you know, we've got wing backs. You have a playmaker in the middle who's in his best position, who can spray balls into 2 players who you're going to argue Solanke's clinical, but we'll see, I guess, in this scenario. And Son, who is clinical, we know Son is clinical. And you can even argue you'd even play like different combinations of those, where you can even put Johnson with another one, or, you know, you like.
Okay. Based on your footballing philosophy, then, as leads tomorrow, who do you appoint as
players we have? I'm using the players we have. You tell me.
All right, but based on the players you have, then. Andrew sack tomorrow. Right, Andrew sack tomorrow. Who do you appoint? First name off the top. Don't even think about it. First name off the top of your head. Go.
Tuchel, but he's at bloody England now.
Right. So that Thomas Tuchel is your answer, right? And you've suggested the system which he plays. Fair enough, no problem. But you sit there and you bash Andy's transfer business because you don't agree with it, right? Thomas Tuchel, by the way, guess who he signed? Timo Werner.
That wasn't the Werner we signed, though.
It doesn't matter. You've just said it does. It doesn't. You've just sat there and said to me, you would change the manager, you change the system, you change the philosophy, you change everything that we're trying to build at the moment, and the manager you appointed signed the same player you don't want to be at Spurs. How stupid!
That's not the same, David, because the Werner he signed was on the back of Leipzig scoring fucking 30 goals. Yeah.
I don't think he ever scored 30
I don't
goals.
know
So
what juju was done on him. Like, I don't know what juju was done on him when he came to Chelsea. Since Chelsea, it's like he's not the same player. Also, this Werner we signed is like 3 years older than that, 4 years older than that. So he's never going to get any better.
So, for the record, when they signed him, he did actually come off the back of a 30-goal season. The thing is, right, the whole shit about Werner, okay, fair enough, but my argument is, you sat there and said that you want us to sign proven players. Would you have said at that stage Werner was a proven player?
When
he signed for Chelsea, was he a proven player?
Yes and no, because he wasn't proven.
Give me an answer. Was he a proven player enough that if you were a manager and you saw those stats and I didn't tell you who he was in or what league he was from, would you have been happy being signed? Yes or no?
Yeah, because he's on the back of 30
Right, okay. So off the back of a 30-goal season player, you'd have been happy Spurs spending a shit ton on a player and then it going wrong and all that money being wasted. He sold back for absolute peanuts and then whatever. So you're at the point now, rather than let the manager wait for the players he wants that are more established and more proven, you would rather sign a player, be absolutely for shit for 3 years, sell them back for absolute peanuts, and make a massive loss while having a massive hole left in your squad from a player that didn't work.
Are you pointing as a shit then?
No, but I'm saying there's every chance it could go the exact same way as Werner did.
Would you rather buy youngsters and still again take a gamble?
I would rather
a youngster's success potential. I base on the same percentages here is about like 30%, 25 to 30% because you're signing a player at a certain age. When you sign a proven player, like I would say, Werner had like a 90% chance he was going to succeed at Chelsea when they signed him because he scored 30 goals. He played a certain style which I thought kind of matched Chelsea at the time. But it just, for some reason, I don't know. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I can't sit there and tell you why it didn't work out. I think maybe it was psychological. Maybe it was like, we signed Soldado.
Yeah.
I saw the sure thing we signed a top striker, right? I'm sure most people thought that. Same with Ndombele. We thought we were getting a top player. But it just didn't work out.
I'm glad you mentioned Ndombele because this is the argument I'm going to make now. Right.
But the problem
hold on, 2 seconds.
He's trying to sign youngsters, though, now. It's like
ignoring Solanke for a second because it's his first season. I don't give a shit. You can't make a comment. Ndombele, Richarlison, Brennan Johnson, Romero, James Maddison, Davinson Sanchez are the next 6 most expensive signings for Tottenham. Now, can you tell me how many of those right now currently have represented value for money and have represented a worthwhile investment?
So do you read the names out again? Sorry.
Ndombele, Richarlison, Brennan Johnson, Romero, Maddison, and Davinson Sanchez.
Romero, yeah, I think so. It's about right.
Okay.
Maddison was like 40 million, is about right in this day and age.
He hasn't represented value for money at all, but okay.
I mean, he signed Gray for 40 million. He's done nothing.
And he's been here half season, but never mind. Go on.
Was it Maddison, Romero,
Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, and Ndombele?
Ndombele, no. Richarlison, no.
Brennan Johnson, not currently.
Well, definitely not currently. And Davinson Sanchez, I'm kind of 50-50 with that because in his first season, he actually was.
Do you need me to read out some of your tweets you posted about Davinson Sanchez while he was at Spurs? Because they were not nice.
But in his first season, everyone was saying raving about him. So,
but it's not about it's about the whole time that he'd been at Spurs in that period, and he did not represent value for money. So you're telling me
the problem is what you define as value for money, right? For 40-60 million for me, you're not signing a top player. You're signing someone who's probably good. Right? Yeah.
No, I disagree with that. You can't tell me that good players come in at that value every time. You can't. I can't refuse.
No. I'm saying, yeah. 60 million is about a going rate for a forward nowadays.
The fact that you can only tell me from second
is not that much compared to if you're saying the numbers that we're talking about for Gokares, who was going for 80-something million. I think they were talking about with him.
But again, because it's a release clause, you've got to pay it all up for anyone go.
It's 100-something million probably cost you.
Right, well, no, Isaac's not for sale, so you can't put a price on him. So that's you can't use that argument.
I'm just saying, estimate these top strikers like Haaland. What's Haaland's release clause now?
He hasn't got one currently. It's active.
I think for a certain size, isn't it?
It's active. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's active from when Pep Guardiola leaves.
If you sold Haaland now, how much do you think he'd go for?
180 million probably.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the top players don't cost 60 million.
Right, but we're still saying that only one from second to seventh represents not even value for money, but represents a good player for what we paid for. Right, one from 2 to 6, 7. You're saying one player.
Two,
now
or three, maybe.
So who else is in that list then?
Huh?
Don't try and tell me Davinson Sanchez because he's not. He didn't. I will go back and I will read your receipts to you.
40 million. If we're talking 40 million nowadays, 40 million is about right for someone like him because 40 million won't get.
No, but I'm talking about in retrospect to when we signed them.
Also, we signed them with like 25 million plus add-ons, didn't we? Anyway.
No, Davinson Sanchez was 42 million euros.
No, I think it was add-ons, wasn't it?
It was 42 million euros is what I've got here. And this is from the main transfer market.
Add-ons. Anyway, we Googled it. So.
Anyway, regardless, that was 17-16. And then 19-20 was... Nombele. Okay, let me ask you this. So when we go down the next pile of the list, Pedro Porro's 9, Van der Ven's 10, Kulusevski's 13, and Son's 18 on that list. Right. So Porro, Van der Ven, Kulusevski, and Son were all lower down on that list, all signed for between the 30 to 40 million pound mark. Two of them as recently as 2 years ago. Three of them as recently as 2 years ago.
I wouldn't say he's proven though. I wouldn't say Porro's proven either.
Oh, right. Hold on. Here we go. So we signed two players for between 30 and 45 million pounds that were not proven, yet have turned out to be better already after 2 years or a year and a half than the players we signed for 60, 70 million pounds that were more established, more proven, and meant to elevate it.
Players we signed cheap, we signed that didn't do anything. There's probably like 50, 60.
Okay, so do you not think then that there has to be a balance that if you scout better and your recruitment focus is better, you can get players that are not quite the elite level, but are close enough that it's clear they're going to push into that for 45 million to 50 million. It works out better value for money than going and signing your 80, 90, 100 million pound players from the top of the financial range.
I don't care about value for money yet. I just want the players that are going to come in and do a job straight away. The problem is with Van der Ven and Porro.
Right, and to get value for money, to come in and do a job straight away, they have to represent good value. The two go hand in hand.
Misunderstand my point. Okay, Van der Ven, and Porro, and I still think the jury's out on both of them because I wouldn't classify them as world class, to be honest, right now.
Well, Porro's wanted by Real Madrid, but okay, and Van der Ven's wanted by Man City, but okay.
But anyway, don't forget, there's not very much dearth of right backs. I don't think. I think they're losing Carvajal. Is it Carvajal that's going or something?
I don't know. But their two targets.
I wouldn't define Porro or Van der Ven as world class, especially not at this point, especially with Van der Ven at this point. And
Van der Ven, no, not quite, but I think Porro is.
Maybe that's because he's been run to the ground.
Okay, let me say this though. The biggest club in the world need a new right back next year, and their two options are Trent Alexander-Arnold and Pedro Porro. They are putting those two in the same category in terms of level.
The system rather than the actual quality.
You just have an answer for everything. And it's so hard to debate with you sometimes because you just come back with the stupidest shit.
It's not. I'm just saying, I don't watch Real Madrid every week yet. It's not saying, it doesn't.
They got beat. Oh, by the way, Ancelotti needs sacking because they got beat 4-0 at the weekend, just so you know. Based on Harry's logic.
Well, not really, because he's won like countless trophies in Europe's top 5 leagues.
I really need to move my desk forward so I'm knocking my backdrop.
What I'm trying to say is like, we can't just say, well, this was value for money, because it kind of was about what he's worth, right? Like 40 million is about right. Same with Van der Ven, it's about right.
Let me ask you this question. If we sold Pedro Porro tomorrow, what do you think Levy would accept?
Maybe like 80 million or something, 60, 70, 80 million.
So hold on, we're talking about a player that we signed for 40.
To be honest.
We're talking about a player that we signed for 40 that would sell for double.
I think he's worth 160 personally. I don't think he's worth the 80 million mark. But the problem is we're talking about Levy here, so Levy will, what Levy's saying anyway. But what I'm trying to say is that 40 million does not get you a player who's going to guarantee to be good, right? It won't get you average player. We're talking a player not something that's young because you've got the young narrative.
But our value for signing £40 million players in terms of the impact they've had on the club and the impact they've had on the squad and how well they've played and then what they've sold on for, our track record is so much better in that price category than it is in the price category above. You can't argue with that.
But the thing is, that's basically to do with probabilities because we sign so many of these players like this. It's our transfer policy to sign young players. Levy even bloody said it, I think, a few years ago. He goes, we don't buy stars at Tottenham, we make them because we buy them cheap. And because of the amount of young players we buy, like we did this summer, maybe one of them is going to turn out good out of like the 4 or something. So that's like, what, a 25% success ratio out of the summer transfers. So then in 2-3 years' time, let's use your Gray as an example, okay? Say Gray succeeds, yeah, but Bergvall doesn't. So Jan, whatever his name was, doesn't. And I want to say, and somebody else we signed, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, doesn't. So that's talking like 25%. But the thing is, we signed so many young players over the years, especially when starting in Tottenham, like the Davenports, even there's so many players I could list off the top of my head that I got Rodrigo Defendi, never heard of. And we signed all these players, and we might make a profit on them later down the line. I'm not saying we won't. But it's like Levy's living off the Bale thing where we signed Bale and like 3 or 4 years later he was good. But then you look at that rest of that window or other windows where we sign young players and most of them don't really succeed.
Okay, let me throw back another counter argument to you then. Musiala left Chelsea. Musiala left Chelsea's academy for 180 grand. How much would he be worth now?
Do you mean the one at Bayern?
Yep.
Like 70 million probably.
Okay. But
again, that's like
at what point? Okay. All right. How much did Monaco sign Mbappe for?
I can't remember. So long ago.
Probably a couple of 100K. What I understand what you're saying, that yes, it's few and far between. But if you get the scouting right, it stops being 25% success rate.
You're more likely to get a successful player if you buy, say, an extra 20, 30 million on top. 90% sure that guy's going to come in and do a job straight away. I'm not saying don't sign any young players, by the way. I'd rather every summer we sign 3 first teamers and 1 young player is like at the end, let's say. We see an opportunity, we do it like that. Rather than playing all summer, we signed all these young players, plus the only first team, forget Werner, plus the only first team player we got was Solanke. It's like the opposite.
I can't believe we just sat here for the last hour arguing about everything. We haven't even spoken about the Palace game. I really don't want to. We were shit. We lost. I look like a twat.
And out.
Right, I'm not even going to entertain that. We need to somewhat talk about the results. The games coming this week.
Oh, yeah, we've got.
We've got City in the cup. We'll talk about City next week after the game because there's no point talking about it before.
Villa at home.
Villa on Sunday. We'll talk about Villa on Sunday.
Does not a lot depend on what team we put out on Wednesday though, as well, or not? Don't you think?
No, I don't think so. I think it depends on the result against City. I think if we beat City or narrowly lose, I think we'll beat Villa.
Oh no, Villa, I think I'm underestimating them. I think they're really good.
I never said we'd beat Villa comfortably. I said we'd beat Villa. I think we'll beat Villa 2-1.
I think this might be Ange's funeral, so I think it's 2-1 Villa.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Tuchel, you can't say Tuchel because he's in a job now. Who? Again, I say to you right now, you sack Ange on Sunday. Who do you get? Who do you appoint? Not Tuchel.
Glasner. I'll take Glasner over Ange. Bring back Sherwood. Like anyone.
Okay. Who do you appoint that's not a mid-table manager? Go.
It doesn't have to be. And Glasner did bits at Frankfurt. Just because he's managing Palace doesn't mean he's not a good manager.
But you're the one sitting there and saying that Andrew's shit because he wasn't Premier League proven before we signed him. Glazner having 6 good months with Palace doesn't make him Premier League proven.
Top 5 league proven.
All right, so we'll go and get David Moyes then because he's won a European trophy.
He's a better option than Ange at this point.
Oh, don't. Just stop, man. Stop, please. You're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing me.
Not really, because people are starting to wake up to this guy. He's lying.
They're not. The only person is...
his crap tactics.
The only people that think his tactics are crap are people that don't actually understand them. People that understand them and know that we don't have the players to play it yet.
We don't practice defending. That's the problem. We're like, when I saw us on the weekend, I'm like, we're just a mess. It's chaos. When I look at teams, right, and I look at defensive shape a lot. And I think you look at Arsenal, for example. I hate to bring them up, but when they in defensive transition, right?
Guys, this is now an Arsenal podcast. This is all Larry fucking talks about.
And if you're watching Sky Sports, watching Arsenal Liverpool, right? Well, the first thing they said was, look, Arsenal defending the 4-4-2, and they're being very compact 4-4-2, right? So there's a lot of teams out there, David, who they'll attack in a certain formation, defend another formation, yeah? When I look at us, I don't even know what the hell's going on. Okay, we're attacking a certain inverted fullbacks, and I don't know where our wingers play anymore at this point because they're just everywhere. And Maddison has to drop deep because his space is being taken. And then you got our centre backs playing chip through balls between each other at the back and doing what else, and playing back to Vicario, even though we're like 1-0 down and there's like a minute left and there's not lumping it forwards. But which is another frustration I had on Sunday. And then I just don't think there's any defensive structure in our team. There's no defensive coaching. Dyer even came out and said it as well. He even said we don't practice defending.
If you're basing your football opinions on Eric Dyer, then you really need to get
Unfortunately, Dyer's been proven right. The way we play has been proven right. There's no defensive structure.
I honestly, I'm so glad I got 3 days to edit this before it goes out because this is just unbelievable. I have no words.
I'm done with this guy, man. I can't watch his football anymore.
And your answer is go and get Tim Sherwood back. You really, really, right. No, Harry, do me a favour, please. Do me a favour, right? I know we have this unfiltered. Do me a favour. Next week, please write a script for yourself because some of this shit you've said tonight is giving me a headache.
Well, you'll find out maybe on Wednesday and Sunday there who was right.
If we go and win 2 games out of 2, I'm going to mock you like a fucker next Tuesday. You have no idea.
I honestly, I love for Ange to go out and prove me wrong and do something different, but...
No, you're just a massive hater. You want him to fail so you will prove right.
No, I actually want him to do some adaptation and change and actually have some defensive structure, but I don't think he will because I just think he's very stubborn. And just by his body language on Sunday where he's staring with his hand.
We're not having a whole podcast episode about a manager's body language again.
No, because I'm sorry, I'm not, as a football player, if I was playing under Ange, I'm just being brutally honest there, I would not be inspired. When I watched Gladstone on the touchline against us, he was screaming at them, and there's a reason why they won the game.
Harry, if I watched you from a touchline, I wouldn't be inspired either. So, And on that note, well, I'm going to leave it there because this is almost an hour and a half of just shouting at each other. Oh, listen, I promise you guys, like, honesty and, like, debates and shit, but this is just... What the fuck?
I'm just done with Ange, bro. I can't watch this guy anymore. I can't.
Well, I'll tell you what then. Do me a favour. Next Saturday, you can go to work and I'll have your season ticket.
No, I'm
right, Harry, listen.
So he fucks
listen to me. All I'm going to say is if you support... We've agreed and disagreed on a lot of things over the years, but if you support Tottenham, whether you like the manager or not, you go there, you support the players he puts out, you support the decisions he makes, and you hope to God we come away with 3 points. You don't go there wanting us to fail for the sake of a manager getting out because you don't like him and you don't agree with his tactics.
You're not understanding it. You've been to games with me, okay? It's not how it works. I'm not going to sit there, though, and agree with every fucking decision this guy makes with substitutions. There's a reason why fans boo when he takes off certain players and brings on others. Like, I think Maddison got taken off the other day.
Rightly so, by the way.
And some fans booed, and they're entitled to do that, okay? Always just tactics. We're 4-4-2 and he's still playing inverted fullbacks. That's pathetic. It was actually pathetic watching us play 4-4-2 with inverted fullbacks on Sunday. Like, I was like, what am I still watching? Where's the directness? What's the point of 2 up front and you're playing tiki-taka around the back still? It's just... I just don't... It just doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. And he stands there with his hands in his pockets. Even does that when we play at home. And I'm like, Ange, do something, mate. Screaming at him, do something. You're like watching this unravel. Like there's that dog saying everything's fine and there's a fire coming up. That's literally how I see him on the touchline. He's like, oh, it's fine, don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys, let's keep doing the same way. It's who we are, mate. Let's concede another 3 goals against Brighton next week.
If it makes you guys feel any better, I'm going to try and get a guest on next week so Harry's a bit more toned down because I can't do another week of this shit. I might actually scream.
I've got a party once he's gone. I'm sorry, I can't watch this guy's football anymore. It's just,
when we end up with Jermaine Genius in the dugout, you're going to fucking regret saying this.
main genius, is he like locked up or something? I don't know.
No, unfortunately not.
You know, apparently they saw him like doing some Malaysian like coverage or something on the weekend.
Surprised it's the only place that employ him now. He starts hitting on his employees. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Thanks, guys. If you've listened this far, go get your ears checked because you've probably got some sort of ear cancer.
And if you agree with me, please comment below.
Please don't. I will turn the comments off of this video and watch me. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star review and drop us a follow. If this is your first time listening, do me a favour. Go back and listen to the rest of the episodes from the season, please. We're not like this every week. We're not this bad every week. This is the worst we've been in. Like, ever since I restarted the podcast again, this is probably the worst we've argued.
I know, but I've been pushed to the limit with this guy.
Well, you're pushing me to my limit, so shut up before I drop you.
I've pushed the limit.
Listen, you're going to be playing with the under-18s if you're not careful. Mate, I'm going to sub Harry out. Next week, I'm going to do a podcast talking to myself. It's going to be a photo of Harry stuck to the window.
You can talk to yourself for like for an hour if you want.
I might get more sense out of it than some of the shit you've said this week. Drop us a like, drop us a support. I love. Yeah, it's time for you to fuck off.
No, I mean,
I appreciate the support. We appreciate the support, even if Harry doesn't show it.
I do appreciate the support, guys.
Just not for the manager of the football club that we support.
No, you don't understand saying. I go there and support the team, okay? I'll scream at the team, whatever. Come on, guys. But I'm not going to sit here and agree with this guy's tactics when I don't agree with them. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Guys, if you see Harry on the street and you feel the need to 2-foot him with your studs, I completely understand. It's completely fine.
Well, give me a handshake if you're Ange out.
Mate, you're going to get eggs thrown on your head and all sorts. It's that time of year as well. Anyway, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll sack Ange, we'll go and get Ten Hag, and then I'll watch you cry like a bitch for weeks on end.
I don't have Ten Hag, to be honest.
Say?
I don't have Ten Hag. They want 2 FA.
Oh, you are such an idiot. Right, I can't do any more. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week. If you made it this far, what the fuck are you doing with your life? I'll see you soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.